Knowstate was inspired by the passion of me and my business partner, Mart Sarmiento's desire to create a content platform that was mostly for the community. Stories that aren't necessarily marketable in a corporate sense or in the mass sense, but stories that deserve to be told. Voices that aren't heard enough, and this is what we wanted to create. The current pandemic has definitely affected media marketing at this time because, and aside from that, it's also like the movements that are happening. Like there's the protests, and then there's like the Black Lives Matter movement, and those things, I think all of those things put together, and the fact that like people can't go out, they're all the information is just on social media. So all of these things that are happening are fighting for attention on the same platform. So imagine trying to promote a party while trying to talk about the things that matter. It's very, very difficult because at the same time, a brand like Knowstate or an honest brand, you want to be relevant, but you also want to make business. So finding that sweet spot where you're relevant, you're sensitive, you are understanding the people while you are trying to sell something and promote something, that is very, very, very challenging. But I think it's really great that brands are aware of this and they're trying to go the right direction, and people are being more responsible about what they share, what they publish, and what they post. I think that's like the good thing that's happening.
Catch me on the rooftop, reminiscing. Few years back, I'm rewinding. Back when West was just a youngin'. Mama was tough, but it was just loving.
I would attribute some of Knowstate's success to the fact that maybe people just needed that whole community spirit in terms of representing a brand. Like a lot of consumers now are very conscious of what they want to support and what they believe in, and I think that Knowstate kind of provided that authenticity, that honesty, that kind of like young, fresh, kind of no bullshit vibe, and I think that was really what made it pop, I guess. I don't really have a typical day. I'm doing something different every day, just mostly because like I work for different kinds of companies. Like some days I'll be in SCMP, some days I'll be in Holy Eats, and some days I'll be in sound department, and sometimes it's like working in a nightclub, sometimes it's just like doing like social media stuff, and sometimes it's like sitting with artists or being like the producer of a shoot. Like it's great, I love it. I worked really hard to get here, but it's like, it can be tiring, but it's very, very fun. I think in Hong Kong, particularly being in the creative scene, money is an issue. And also Hong Kong's society puts art at a very low stage a lot. So it's very hard for businesses to appreciate art and creativity for its real value. So I think that is trying to convince brands and businesses to invest in something that they don't understand yet. That's the biggest challenge. I think there's definitely a potential for Hong Kong's filmmaking scene. There's so many videographers that have like stepped into the scene just this year. Like I can't even, it used to be like a handful at first, but now it's like anybody with a camera, they're really learning how to like do it, and it's really cool. But I think with Hong Kong, the storytelling is still very weak, still very amateur. Like it's still very, because I guess the way Hong Kong people consume content is still different from the rest of the world. we're so fast paced that we don't wanna spend more than 7 seconds on a video. And I think that and it's also finding the right stories to tell in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is a very small city, and sometimes a lot of the stories overlap, but there are actually a lot of stories that are very undiscovered, and it's just really, really hard because there's like the language barrier. I think Kanye West is a really, really good example of how talented people are never really normal. Like, I think that if you're gonna ask me who my favorite artist is, it's not really about the artist, it's about the craft, right? Like, that's why it's so hard for me to tell you who my favorite hip hop or whatever artist is, because I think it's really more about how one person does a craft. It can be someone as big as Kanye West, but it can also be someone who is like just a really talented DJ at a local club. Like, I think that is something that I'm kind of developing as I'm working in Knowstate and all that stuff now. So yeah, but Kanye is inspiring.
Been through, and the sunshine's gonna come. Once the rain's down, we'll be okay, I promise. We won't stay down.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Friends hollering, can I play out? And not coming back to the Jay said I couldn't stay out when your street was the playground. And making sure your chores are all done so you get your friends to stay round. Those were the good days, man. Those were the good days, and best believe I can't leave out secondary. Some of the memories from back then were legendary. Water fights had you in class, soaked to the bone, excited for round 2 before you went home. Playing penny up the wall, trying to make a quick change. Crowds running to the scene of the last fight, so whoever was involved can get their quick fame. Oh man, it's so insane.
I think Kanye West, as you know, as crazy as he is right now, oh no, that's really bad. Actually, that's pretty inappropriate. Okay.